Hey folks, in this video we are going to be talking about rehabbing your first rental property. So what I've got here for you today are the 7 steps that I use when I'm rehabbing my rental properties, and it's mostly about the order in which you do everything. We're going to talk about securing the property, protecting it from vandals, burglars, so on and so forth, and we're also going to talk about a few things that will save you time and money. So the reason I decided to make this video for you guys is that if it was around when I started doing this and I found it, it would have saved me thousands of dollars, hundreds of hours in time, and just a lot of pain and heartache. So let me tell you a quick story about my second property that I ever purchased. I paid $12,700 for it, and one of the mistakes that I made was, it was such a good deal that I wanted to go ahead and get it, but I didn't have enough money to finish rehabbing it once I bought it. So I figured, well, I'll go ahead and secure it. I'll make sure that nobody else can get it, and then I'll save up for the rehab, and when I have the money, I'll go ahead and finish it and I'll rent it out. Well, it kind of turned out where so many things went wrong. I'd start, I'd stop, I'd start and stop, and it was just kind of a rougher year. And one of the problems with that was that I had, people just knew. They knew that I was rehabbing it. They knew that I was in and out. They knew I was an idiot, and I left my tools there. I just left a lot of signs for them to see that, hey, we can break in and make some money. So it was broken into quite a few times, and because of the way I did things, it started out with it being broken into once, and then I thought, oh, well, I'll just make it a little bit more secure. Then it was broken into again, and so I thought, oh, well, I guess I didn't do a very good job at securing the property. I better make it even more secure. And then one day I was rehabbing it, and I had to rip out the bathroom, just the walls, the tile surround in the bathtub, and redo some plumbing, and I had to cut off the water, obviously, to fix the plumbing. And so, the cutoff for the water was out close to the road, and of course, you lift a lid up, and I just set it off to the side in the yard and cut the water off. Well, I forgot to put the lid back on. So my plan was, because I had spent all week working on this property, I wanted to go home and just take a day off. But when I woke up the next morning, I remembered that I had left that lid off of that water cutoff, and I was worried that somebody was going to be walking through the yard. They might, break their leg or something. So since I wasn't planning on rehabbing, I was just planning on driving out there and putting the lid back on, I decided to bring my wife and my kids with me. I'd show them what I'd been working on for the past week. And as soon as I turned down the street that I was planning on, or the street that this house was on, I noticed that there was a vehicle in the driveway. And I noticed that there was somebody that was loading up my stuff into his vehicle. Now, this is the third time that it was broken into. You'd think that by now I would have realized, hey, don't leave your stuff at the property. And there was a lot of things that I had loaded up, but things like a dehumidifier, because I was worried about mold, and some other things, some paint. There's like a couple $100 5-gallon buckets of paint that were there. So anyway, at that point, I just completely shut off as far as thinking, and I gunned it. I drove as fast as I could. I swerved into the driveway to block him in, and my thought was, I'm going to get out of this vehicle and I'm going to beat the dog crap out of this guy. So anyway, I'm going to finish that story in a few minutes, but the point that I'm trying to make here is that the way that I came up with this system was from doing. This is from me being in the trenches, learning by trial and error, and I want you to take what I give you, and I'm hoping that you'll use it. So the first step in this 7-step process is I'm assuming that you don't have the electricity on. I'm assuming that the gas has not been turned on if you have gas appliances. But the first step is you need to make the property as secure as possible. And in addition to that, obviously, The moral of that story is when you buy a property, you need to have the money to rehab it so that you can rehab it as soon as possible. You need to do your best to be there every day. You need to get it done. So if I had just known that, if I just used my head a little bit, then I would have saved myself a lot of money and a lot of grief. But that's neither here nor there. Start out by making sure that all of the windows have bars on them, good bars. If you have to, you can use those slide-out bars that you buy at Home Depot or at Lowe's that are adjustable, but I don't recommend those except for a last resort. Try to find some good bars with security screws to put around all your windows. Do not leave window units in the windows. I don't recommend using the kind of window units that actually stick outside of the wall. There are units that are interior and they just have a little duct that goes out the window, so that works well with your security bars. The only way that I would say it's okay to use a window unit is if you have the kind that fully encloses top, sides, and bottom and back of the window unit, and then it's great because they do cool better than those interior units. So bars around all the windows, security doors that have a spot for both a regular lock and a deadbolt. You want to have deadbolts on the security doors. You also want to have deadbolts on the interior doors. Something else that you should look at, something that happened with that same property was, even though it had some security doors on it, they were old and rusty, and it was easy for the people that were breaking in to take a crowbar and literally just break the metal next to the deadbolt. So that's how they got in that time. So after you get the preliminary security done, you can move on to step 2, which is cutting the electricity on. And after you get the electricity on, you can go on to doing some extra security. So I like to put up security lights, motion activated lights, and I'd put them all the way around the house. I put 1 or 2 in the back and 1 or 2 in the front. And especially make sure that one of those lights is pointed towards the entrance. So all of the entrances need to have lights that point to them when somebody is nearby. So don't think that that's enough, though, obviously, because if somebody wants to, they can just go up in the daytime and take all of the light bulbs out, and then they can come back at night and finish what they started. So in addition to that, I would get yourself an alarm system. The good thing about the alarm system that I use is that it doesn't require a phone line, and it also doesn't require the internet because it uses a 4G network, its own 4G network. It does not have a monthly contract that you have to sign. It's month to month, and I think it's $20 a month. So what I'll do is I'll just install it temporarily. It has a very loud alarm that's going to go off, and that hopefully will scare them off. So that can be your second security. You want some sort of system, though, that does notify you when they break in so that you know to go in and fix everything and send the cops over there. Don't expect them to get there anytime soon. When I caught this guy breaking into my house, I don't think they got there for 45 minutes. Most of this video is kind of geared towards helping you prevent loss, so and get the property rented out as soon as possible. So if people see you in this house every day, they're far less likely to want to break in. So what I do is, because I'm trying to get this property ready to go as soon as possible, I get it set up where one room is completely done. I do the flooring in that room, I do the painting, I do everything. And then I can move my air mattress in there and I can stay there until this property is completely finished. I also get a bathroom ready to go so I can take a shower, I can use the toilet, and I at least have a mini fridge and a microwave. At that point, from the time I wake up in the morning to the time I go to bed at night, I'm working. And it also has the added benefit of now you can bring your family to help you and have fun. So I have 3 boys, and we let them stay in that one room, providing that there's no issues with mold or safety or anything like that. And my wife likes to help, and so we do this as a family. And I even get my boys to paint with me. They love it. It's a fun time. This is the whole point of this business for me anyway is, or at least one of the main reasons, is to be able to spend more time with my family. And, I can start doing that right now, even when I'm working every single day. So after I get those things ready, now I'm really in a good position to just knock stuff out one by one. And so from there, I'll start the cleaning process, the demo process, just getting everything ripped out. If I'm tearing out carpet, because I hate carpet, I'll get all that knocked out. Just get everything ready for fresh paint, new floors, stuff like that. The fifth step, before I do any flooring or put in any appliances, I'll go ahead and do interior paint. Start with the ceilings, and then I will paint the walls. I always use the exact same color and the exact same brand for interior paint in all of my properties. That way, anytime somebody moves out, I can just go grab that same paint, and I can either repaint the entire thing, or I can, paint, spot paint or paint a wall or whatever, and I don't have to worry about it matching. So there's a little tip for you. So after the interior paint, then you're ready to put down new floors. I try to either use tile or laminate floors, just depending on what kind of a floor it is, how the foundation works, if there are any waves in the foundation at all. But usually I end up going with the laminate flooring unless the foundation is in good enough condition to put down ceramic tile. When I do put down ceramic tile, I usually get Traffic Master from Home Depot. It's 57 cents a square foot. So it's a very cheap floor, and it's going to last forever unless somebody takes a sledgehammer to it and busts it all up, or if it's on a slab foundation or a conventional foundation and that settling causes it to crack, which is why I end up having to use the laminate wood floors more often than not, just because in this area that I work in, even though I don't buy houses with major foundation problems, there is usually some settling. So after the flooring, of course, you can put in your appliances. You can do those final touches to get it nice and set up on the inside. And at this point, even though I have not even started on the exterior yet, if you don't already have it rented out, which hopefully if people see you there every single day, you will already have it rented out. But if you don't have it rented out yet, you don't have a lease signed on it yet, you can go ahead and run your ads. Definitely take something down to the local Section 8 office, and they'll usually put your ad on a bulletin board out there, put something in Craigslist. Then you can start the exterior. So any painting, landscaping. One thing that I forgot to mention, as far as step one, when you're securing the property, that would also be the time when you would take any extra measures to protect the property from things like, if you have a roof leak, then you'll want to go ahead and take care of that during step one of the process as well, because the whole point is to protect your property from further harm to save you money and time later on down the road. So I'm going to create a PDF for you guys. It's going to give you the checklist, the 7 steps, and I'm also going to throw in some extra tips and tricks that I don't have time to go over today. We'll talk about a few more mistakes to avoid and some ways to save time and get the property just knocked out as soon as possible, as well as I might even throw in tool lists and things like that. We'll see what I can come up with. But anyway, let me finish this story here. So what happened was, I blocked him in the driveway, and I hopped out of the car, and I was mad, and I was ready to kick the crap out of this guy. And of course, I'm yelling at him. I don't want to say what I said because this is a family channel, but what I wasn't expecting was for the guy to throw his hands in the air. I didn't even have a gun. I mean, I was just ready to knock his teeth out. He threw his hands in the air, and he just kept saying over and over again, "I'm sorry, sir. Please don't hurt me." And I've never experienced anything like this in my life, but I went from being so angry to just, I couldn't hit this guy if I wanted to. I knew that what would happen if I did hit him was it was going to be like an invisible hand holding my fist back, because I just couldn't bring myself to be angry anymore. So I made him unload all of my stuff out of his truck. I made him walk around the back of the house with me to make sure he didn't steal my AC unit. And then I ended up letting him go. And, after I did let him go, of course, the thought kind of occurred to me, look, he's just going to do it again to somebody else. Maybe not, but I did end up calling the police. That was just a complete and total waste of time. Let them know what happened. Of course, nothing ever came of it. But I guess the moral of the story is, if you don't just let your property sit there forever, you go ahead and get it rented out, and you take a few steps to make it secure, then most of the time nobody's going to mess with you, especially if you're there. The only time that somebody's going to mess with you, even in a high crime area, in my experience, and I've done a lot in my life as far as just going through every neighborhood. For years I was a door knocker, and there wasn't a neighborhood that I wouldn't go into. Of course, that was in Atlanta. But I would just knock every neighborhood. I wasn't worried. One of the things that I realized was, even if somebody is going to try to hurt somebody else, they're usually only going to hurt people that are messing with them. They're bothering them, I mean, I'm not doing drugs. I'm not going out looking for prostitutes. And usually the people that end up getting hurt are people that are involved with other people that are selling drugs or just doing the things that criminals do. So if you're not a criminal, you probably don't have anything to be worried about. And I don't want to say that you shouldn't be careful. If you don't feel comfortable going into working in certain areas or doing certain things, if you don't feel comfortable carrying a gun, then maybe this isn't the right thing for you to do. I don't want anybody coming back and blaming me and saying, hey, I got hurt because I took your advice. Use your best judgment. But, this is where the money is for me right now. I'm not scared. I just think that it's kind of ridiculous that a lot of people are. But again, that's me. So anyway, I hope that was helpful. If you want that PDF, I will probably put an annotation or something somewhere on the screen so that you can download it. I'll also put a link in the description. I hope this was helpful for you guys, and I will see you in the next video.